And this is Ken Kreitzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio. We're going to have a special opportunity to work with one of the Army assistant coaches today and a special event of a coaches clinic that benefits a very important charity. And that is Army assistant head coach and outside linebackers coach, John Loose. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Ken. Thanks for having me on again.
Our pleasure. Great to work with you on this terrific event you've been working on since 2004 in recognition of your daughter, who is a survivor of pediatric cancer. You've been running camps, and this year you're going to do an online coaches clinic. Maybe just if you would tell us again how this started and tell us a little bit about your daughter.
Okay. The camp started, our first one was in 2004. And we've had them every year until this year when COVID obviously canceled all the camps. So we would have a camp at Lafayette College, and we had them in Florida, and we had a couple 7-on-7s in Long Island, and we had them in Ohio a bunch of years. But, we had over 20 something camps over the years, and we have that all proceeds go to pediatric brain tumor research and cancer services. So, everyone is volunteer. Every coach who is on here volunteer. We usually have about 400 coaches, college coaches, and some NFL coaches volunteer to work the camps. And we usually have about 2,000 campers come from 17 states and a couple countries. So we had to try to fill the void. And, we came up with the idea about a virtual, although live clinic that coaches and others really, and I know you mentioned that off the air, but that anybody could purchase, and they would have full access for either a month or a year, depending which package they pick. So you don't have to see it live. And then we just went out and asked a bunch of coaches to do it. And virtually every coach we've asked to do it said yes. So it's, we think we have an unbelievable lineup. And in fact, I've been told all week, this is the best lineup I've ever seen. And, you couldn't pull this off if it wasn't for that it's all virtual. I mean, people couldn't fly over from all over the country for, 4-day clinics. So this has been pretty easy to pull off in a lot of ways.
No, I think you've really, everyone's been working, in the business industry, marketing on how to convert it on live events to online. I think you've done and your team have done a terrific job. Let's go through your first day. This will be Thursday, January 14th, starting at 4:00. And boy, you've got a great opening speaker, and that being Luke Fickell, the head coach of the University of Cincinnati. Had a great season. You played him this year. And tell us a little bit about that, if you would.
Well, we saw them up close and personal, and they were a legit football team. Obviously they had, their bowl game had them on the ropes, but, we're really excited about having Luke Fickell to open it up. Luke Fickell is actually an honorary board member for Lawrence First and Goal. He spoke in Ohio when he was at Ohio State. So, so again, Luke Fickell was kind enough to step up, and 2 of his assistants are also going to speak during the week. But Luke's going to lead us off, and, we're really excited about that. And then, then I can go through the list of speakers, but then Greg Schiano is going to speak at 7:00. So Luke is at 4 and Greg Schiano is at 7. And the way, Ken, it's all set up, we can have as many as 6 speakers at one time, and typically do. But when we have the headline speakers like Luke Fickell and Greg Schiano and eventually Coach Monken at the end, we'll just have one speaker. So that's how it's all going to work.
Absolutely. That's going to run through Sunday. So in your 5:00 segment, you've got Dave Cohen, defensive line coach from Wake Forest, Thomas Sheffield, special teams coach from Nevada, Rick Skorowski, the offensive coordinator from Florida International, is that?
Yeah, it's Rich Skorowski. And, each one of these guys I have some background with, and you look at the first hour. Dave Cohen I worked with at Albany State years ago. And, I think he's the associate head football coach there also, and really good football coach, really good friend of mine. We lived together. We first got started working for Bob Ford. And I don't know every person personally, but we reached out to some guys. So they're all, quality programs, and we're excited about it. Rich Skorowski is one of the first guys I've met in the business. He actually worked for Pete Lembo, which he'll speak also later in the week, but I've known him for a long time. Isaiah Walker, we're excited about him from Georgia Southern.
Right.
And then Chris Ash is also during that hour, obviously was the head coach at Rutgers and was recently, the head coach at Texas and has been the defensive coordinator at Texas and also been defensive coordinator at Ohio State when they were really, really good. So that's a pretty good, first hour. I'm trying to look at it right now.
Matt Mum from the air raid at Nevada
yeah,
Pack Attack.
His dad is Hal Mummy that really made all that famous, and Matt is a really, really good football coach. So we're excited about him too.
Matt Halleck, you've got, which school is he from? I can't read that on the.
I'm sorry, which one is it?
Matt Halleck is.
Toledo? It's Mike Halleck, and Mike is a great guy. Mike, in fact, he's another one. He was a head coach in Division III school out in Ohio, and every year he volunteered when we ran the Lawrence First and Goal football camps in Ohio. So they do have a lot of background with a lot of these people.
Yeah, I got Joe Moorhead from Oregon.
Yeah, so Joe Moorhead was the head football coach at Mississippi State, and before that was the offensive coordinator at Penn State and really got them rolling. And before that, saw him up close and personal a bunch when he was the head football coach at Fordham.
Okay.
So I'm excited. He's done a great job at Oregon, obviously, and did a great job at Penn State. So people in the East are very familiar with him. And again, this has a far more reaching than just the East. But,
Yeah, so that'll be in the 6 o'clock time slot tomorrow. This is the Thursday opening night of your clinic, Jovan DeWitt.
Javon DeWitt. And I met Javon DeWitt here at Army West Point. He was our special team coordinator and outside linebacker coach. And, eventually left here and had tremendous success at Central Florida, during that great run. They're undefeated. And then went on to Nebraska. Now he's working with Jay Bateman, who was our defensive coordinator here, obviously, and did a great job. And but that's how I know Javon DeWitt. And
then you got third down. That's important at West Point. Adam Fuller, who is defensive coordinator from Florida State.
Yeah, he's at Florida State, and he's another one, Adam Fuller, that worked the camp. We've literally, Ken, had thousands of coaches work our camp. So, but Adam Fuller, in fact, most of these guys have, I bet. Adam Fuller worked the camp when he was coaching at Wagner, right down the road in Staten Island. So, and he's done a great job as a defensive coordinator at a number of places, but Memphis before Florida State, and I believe Marshall before that. In fact, I'm sure of it. Yeah, and the next one's Jimmy Knowles. So
from Oklahoma State.
From Oklahoma State.
Playing offense on defense. You know something about that at West Point?
No doubt. I mean, I tell you what, he worked our camp when he was a head football coach at Cornell. So Coach Knowles, I sent him a text and he immediately said, yeah, I'm in. I'm excited about it. So he was the defensive coordinator when we would play Duke a couple of years ago at Duke. And he just did such a great job that Oklahoma State bought him up. So we're excited to have him too. And
then of course, Greg Schiano, head coach of Rutgers, as a 7 o'clock speaker on Thursday night. What a job he's done at Rutgers so far.
No doubt. He's done a great job and obviously did a great job before. And, Greg was scheduled, in fact, this summer to be our featured speaker at Lawrence First and Goal. And obviously it didn't come off. So, Greg was one of the guys we called right away to see if he could be a speaker. And we're excited to have him. So I'm really excited to have him.
Now you've got a few more now. You got an 8 o'clock session on Thursday with some notables. Eric Jackson.
Eric Jackson is a really good football coach and has really put family ahead of his profession a lot. And he's a great football coach. He was at Princeton for years and years and years and would always work our camp. And so I know Eric, and that's out on the West Coast at Lewis and Clark. And then Chad Wilt, who has done a great job. He was at Army West Point and did a great job, and then went on to Cincinnati and they had a great year, and then he went on to Minnesota. So we're excited to have him back in the fray too.
And one of your fellow coaches, Sean Saturno.
Sean Saturno, yep. Sean
Saturno, we did a talk with them this year. What a job the special teams at West Point did this year.
No doubt, he did a great job on special teams. So I'm anxious to. The ABC, the punt block drills. We got a lot of success out of this. We led the country, I think, in blocks, between field goal block and punt. And so it makes a difference, obviously, as you know. So
not to mention the top defense and fewest yards per game given up. What an accomplishment that is. Your whole defensive team, coaches and players this year.
No doubt. Well, Coach Monk has put together a great staff, and most of them are on here. I mean, Coach Woody's going to speak on Sunday, and Coach Monken will be our final speaker on Sunday to wrap it up. So, and the next one is Nick Sheridan, who's done a great job at Indiana. I met Nick Sheridan when he was a baby. Honestly, Nick Sheridan coached for one of my best friends, Bill Sheridan, when we were here together the first time in the 90s. So Nick was born at West Point and is now like I said, now he's running the show at Indiana. So he's done a great job there. So we're excited to have him too.
Absolutely. And then also in the 8 o'clock on Thursday, you've got the tight ends coach from Rice, Chris Montefiletto.
Yes. Yep. And, Chris has worked the camp too before he was at Rice. So he's a Northeastern guy. So, excited about that one too. Tight end technique in the passing game. And then Ben Albert's the last one, who is the co-DC and, he's the co-defensive coordinator at Duke. And I have the utmost respect for Duke. I really do. They, they're not recruiting the same people as the rest of the ACC, and yet they do a great job, obviously.
Absolutely. Well, that's a rundown on your first day of the Coaches Clinic that will start on Thursday, January 14th at 4 o'clock. And just remind our audience where they can sign up to attend, participate, buy a ticket for this on the website.
Correct. So if you go to lfgf.org, then you'll see where it's at. So it's lfgf.org. You can go on there and you can still register for the clinic. And there's tickets in there, Ken, where you can buy it, where you can get an individual ticket that's good for the entire month. So you can go back and see replays. You can get a group of 5 or a staff of 5 where it's good for the month. Or I think the best value you can get is there's a ticket in there that's good for an entire year. And I know I said this the other day, but that's the ticket I bought. You get it for an entire year. You can watch it at your leisure. So you don't have to catch every clinic live. You can watch them when you want, but obviously we give the option to watch it live so you can ask questions during the clinic.
Okay. John Loose, the assistant head coach, outside linebackers coach at West Point, the U.S. Military Academy. Great to chat with you and hear about your Coaches Clinic, Lauren's First and Goal, that benefits pediatric cancer and honors your daughter, who is a survivor of pediatric cancer. And we will hopefully talk to you again after the opening day, and we'll preview day 2 of this 4-day event.
All right. Sounds great. I can't wait, Ken. Thank you.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. This is Ken Kreitzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio.